Hi there, Aquarius, and welcome to your timeless dream love reading. So it's been a while, but I've had a lot going on. But yeah, happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. I hope you had a wonderful, beautiful day celebrating you. And yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to start off with my Michael Souls cards first and then work my way towards like the dream part of this reading. So these are going to help sort of just clarify the overall energy and feel of what kind of things we're dealing with right now. Okay, so up first we have Charoite, Unconditional Love, Healing Romance, Element Air, Chakra Heart, and Crown. And it's this beautiful purple stone, okay? So, Charoite, a rare purple stone with a pearly luster, is exclusively found in the Sakha Republic of Siberia, Russia. Its discovery dates back to the 1940s, coinciding with the construction of the Trans-Siberian Railroad in the Soviet Union, known as Stone of Unconditional Love. Charoite inspires us to express love more freely in all aspects of our lives. It aids in releasing toxic relationships, making space for healthier and more empowering connections. With a very romantic energy, Charoite works hard to help us find our happily ever after. When to use it. For open communication and relationships, when healing from heartbreak and manifesting love, where to put it, use it as a central stone in a healing crystal grid. Special care, protect it from extreme temperatures, and avoid leaving in direct sunlight for prolonged periods. I value myself enough to say goodbye to toxic ties. Okay, so the irony of like this beautiful stone being found in Russia, right, with everything going on in the world, right? Maybe they need to find some more Charoites and like wear them and be more happily ever after energy coming around here. Okay, for Cuban, maybe he needs absorb some of this energy because he's not really creating a lot of happily ever afters right now. Um, but anyways, Black Obsidian, we have this powerful stone to block out negativity. Okay, so this stone protects from negative energies. Okay, protection, healing, and truth. Element Earth, chakra root. Forged in the depths of volcanic activity, Black Obsidian is a powerful jet black gemstone. Throughout history, it has been crafted in defensive weapons by various cultures. In a similar way, its spiritual meaning is also linked to protection, working as a shield against danger and negative energies. Featuring a glossy texture, the volcanic wonder is considered a powerful tool for those seeking protection, profound healing, and truth. Despite its mysterious appearance, Black Obsidian is your reminder that light cannot exist without darkness. When to use it. In crowded spaces and situations, at work, as gem jewelry. Where to put it. Place it near your front door to keep your home from negative external forces. Special care. Do not expose it to extreme temperatures or soak in salt water. It is safe to be here and it is safe to be me. Okay? And then we have Chrysocolla. Chrysocolla. Growth, empowerment, and stability. Element, water and earth, chakra, heart. Chrysocolla is a breathtaking gem that simultaneously captures the calming essence of water and the stabilizing force of the earth. Its name originates from the Greek word for gold, chrysos, and blue, cola. And this gem is specially celebrated for its tranquil shades of blue and green. Its association with the heart chakra fosters self-empowerment and inner strength, aiding individuals in discovering their voice and expressing their truth. When to use it. To enhance communication, foster emotional balance, and strengthen your inner self. Where to put it. Keep it in spaces where you engage in conversations or meditation. Special care. Handle with care to preserve its beauty and avoid exposure to extreme temperatures or chemicals. Expressing my truth is liberating. I embrace it fearlessly. All right. So I'm really getting the sense that you are sort of being held back a little bit from speaking your truth, and that's why you're tapping in so much into this protective energy right now this time. And I also feel like you are very much viewed as like the glue that holds everything together, whether that's in your work life, your family life, your love life. But you are someone who is constantly like trying to glue things together and keep everything intact. So that can be very hard to maintain, especially when you're fighting up against negative energies that are constantly pulling things apart, tearing things apart, breaking things apart, and you have to glue it back together over and over again. Okay, there, Aquarius. So, all right, so let's move into some deep breathing. Yeah. This theme is very strong this week, Aquarius. Deep breathing, meditation, getting in the downloads, the messages at this time, bringing them into your sacred space, and then releasing them in a beautiful, healthy way, okay? Because there's a lot of messages that I've received over the last week or so. Okay, so I think the Six of Pentacles is a strong energy here. Okay, this is essentially what you have here is like a devil, demon, bad guy, right? And he's offering a deal to this young girl, these two young girls here, and they're taking the money and signing the deal. Okay, so they don't. The sense and the idea here is that these young girls don't know what they're getting themselves into, and they're sort of now signed a deal that they can't get out of because the deal is with the devil, right? The deal is with someone who is not protecting them, right? Who's sort of misguiding them and misleading them to think, oh, you have safety and you have protection here, but then you turn around and you realize there is no safety, there is no protection. You have like the bare minimum, if that. Okay, so it's a whirlwind of energy for sure that I'm picking up on. But we have Waiting Gibbous, we have Count Your Blessings. You do have beautiful blessings coming in. You do have this beautiful, I feel like it's an emotional bond toward abundance. It's an emotional thing that is like bringing you to a more higher sense or higher regard or higher peace, because you can see that if you trust your intuition, if you trust yourself, then you will be guided to make the right decisions, as difficult and hard as they may be. And you won't fall victim to what these, girls have fallen victim to, okay, unfortunately here, okay? So this is an energy that you see repeatedly happen over and over again in this timeline, in this history that you live in. You've seen young girls get screwed over by, the devil in disguise, okay? And you, I think, feel like you want to help, but you don't know how to help yet, or you're onto the path of some sort of discovery here. Yeah, we have Four of Pentacles and Six of Pentacles. Okay, there's a little icicle flower here. There's like a scientific term for this. I can't remember it, but so kind of being like in the wasteland, the winter wasteland here, but having growth and abundance and material success regardless. So it's like the sense of hope, but it's coming at a great cost, or it's like it's so hard to reach, it seems impossible. Winter wasteland, that's a tough terrain, that's a tough climate to survive, right? The winter is very harsh. So if you can survive that, right, you can survive anything, right? And this is, we're talking about, emotions here. So I'm going to take a look deeper from the Witch's Tarot book here that I have, this Four of Pentacles. Okay, so we're going to take a closer look at this. Oh, is this the Four of Pentacles or the Five? I'm sorry, this is the Five of Pentacles. I was like, that looks, okay. So the Five, okay. Five of Pentacles. Okay, 5 golden interwoven pentacles hang upon a barren tree. It is winter, and they are still around the base of the tree in the hillside. The leafless branches stand out dramatically against the winter landscape, an icy-looking and cold, cloudy skies in the background. The Minor Arcana card can symbolize that you feel shut out in the cold, away from lovers, friends, or other witches. However, this card is all a matter of perception. For example, the blanket of snow may symbolize isolation, or instead, it may give a fresh and clean look to an otherwise bland landscape. The snow can be a sign that it is time to make a fresh start. In the foreground, a lone snowdrop flower raises its head through the snow. The snowdrop flower symbolizes renewal and consolation in adversity, which are the true messages of this card. Meanings. When the Five of Pentacles turns up in a reading, it indicates a fall of time. The court may be experiencing financial worries or feeling that they are isolated from others who share a similar belief system. There may be a feeling of disconnect and isolation, or they may be losing faith in themselves. There is anxiety and stress, and the focus must be turned towards working through the tough times instead of indulging in fear and feeling sorry for yourself. That snowdrop flower is significant. It shows that life goes on and rebirth is possible. Help is available if you ask. No matter how dark or cold the winter may be, spring growth and new possibilities are just around the corner. Keywords: financial worries, anxiety, stress, and work through the tough times. Feeling shut out or isolated, renewal and hope and adversity. Reverse: loss, sadness, regret, and remorse. Yeah, so obviously, if you see people making a bad deal, right, you're gonna see that they are suffering, and you're gonna be like, wow, I really feel bad that like they're going through this hard time right now. But there is still hope here. So I think the message here is that you're not the one making the bad deals, okay? Even if you think you are right now at this time, it's more of like it's something you see happen a lot repetitively. It's like you see people make the same poor decisions time and time again, and it's because they weren't like, I feel like they didn't grow up being taught like the right choice. You know what I mean? They made a choice based off of like what they were taught, but like what they were taught was basically wrong. Like don't make a deal with the devil. You know what I'm saying? But you're here holding on to hope here, okay? And this is a lesson that you see reoccurring in history time and time again, okay? But there is hope here. This Ace of Wands, I feel like, also is an indicator of representation of hope and the butterfly of rebirth, okay? And transformation, okay? And this is the season of summer here. So it could be summer. Is it spring or summer? Anyways, but basically it's like you are seeing that the emotions are changing from what could seem like a very cold, isolated time in your life where you weren't doing very well financially and successfully to a time now where you are doing well. And you're seeing that future unfold in front of you, that pathway forward unfold in front of you. And I feel like you want to help other people. You want to bring them closer to the path that you are on. But maybe that's part of like the lesson. The lesson is like you're on the path and other people are watching you on the path. And as you grow and become more successful, they're going to want to, I don't want to say copy like in a bad way, like copycat way. Like there are copycats out there that are just like fake ass people. But I'm saying like these are real people who are like inspired by your journey, inspired by the levels that you're going up. Because I've heard a lot of these messages going around in the collective of like there's layers, okay? And maybe it's like underlining. I think there was like one reader, she was like talking about, um, she was talking about layers, okay? I shared her video on my Facebook, okay? And she is saying like, there's layers. And I feel like there are layers, but there's also levels too. And once you uncover the depths of those layers and those layers unveil themselves to or reveal themselves to you, then you've moved up a level because you're no longer living in that stagnant layer of like, oh, everything is bad, everything is negative, everything is woe is me, everything is so stressful, nothing's working out in my favor, to I'm going to be the one that makes the decision. I'm going to be the one that asks for help in a hopeless situation. And then I'm going to move up a level because I no longer am tied to this old belief system where I have to make deals with the devil to get to where I need to go. You know what I'm saying? Like there are times when not so you have to, but like you might feel like you need to make a deal with like a shady business person, or you might need to take that shady, side gig that you hope is going to pay, and then it turns out they don't really pay. I've had those jobs. I've had a lot of jobs where they say they're going to pay me, and then they don't pay me, and then I'm like, okay, I just worked for you for free, but okay. And then you get stuck in that layer of like, this company is so unimportant or irrelevant that nobody's gonna care to look into it or whatever. But like you take your loss, whatever. But then there's times where you actually win big. And that's what we're getting to here is the Ace of Wands. So it's not saying you don't deserve what happened to you. I don't want you to believe that, or you don't deserve to have to go through that karmic lesson. But I'm saying, like, what did you take away from it? Like, even though the job didn't pay me, I still had a fun, creative experience where I got to express myself the way I like to express myself the best. And that was a win for me. So even when I didn't get my $20 for my, like, I don't know, like few weeks of work, okay, I still was, you know what I'm saying? Like, a few weeks of work isn't $20. Do the math. That doesn't add up. But it's still like you still had fun doing it, right? So, I mean, you could always, try to report them or try to, find some live human being that can like send you a $20 check or whatever if you really wanted to. But I'm just like, you know what? I'm not. I don't want to waste my energy with that. It's $20. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you take it as it resonates with you, but also know the value of your work too. If that $20 is really that important to you, then fight for that $20. Okay. So, Ace of Wands. Okay. So we're moving into a better time here, a time where you're actually seeing and realizing your potential and that you deserve a certain life for yourself. Okay. Dawn is breaking and we see a blooming hawthorn branch stuck firmly in the grassy hill. The wand is a bit reminiscent of a maypole with its crisscross ribbons and fiery red streamer blowing in the breeze. According to tradition, the hawthorn tree was a popular choice for maples. Behind the wand there are green rolling hills and turret castles on a hill. The castle in the background represents the reward that waits for you after your quest for knowledge. An advancement is completed. The hawthorn is associated with the element of fire, making it fitting as a wand representation of the tarot for witches. The hawthorn flowers flourishing on the single wand symbolize ideas that emerge and then blossom from our minds. In the language of flowers, the hawthorn blossom symbolizes hope. A bright red butterfly flutters to the side of the wand. The butterfly symbolizes transformation, regeneration, and joy. It is going to be a beautiful day and one full of promise. Meanings. The Ace of Wands is the most potent and pure form of the masculine element of fire. This card shows the creative fire energy that cannot be contained and now is bursting forth in bloom. The Ace of Wands helps to reveal the creative path or the career path that you were on. Your hard work is turning your ideas into a successful reality. This is an auspicious card if the corn is considering a new job or is up for promotion at work. The Ace of Wands symbolizes power, new beginnings, a birth, success, a new home, a promotion, or a new job. Ambition, passion, enthusiasm, and growth. Creativity, courage, optimism, ambition, career and business, positive starts, a birth, transformation, or even a new home. Your hard work is turning ideas into a successful reality. The element of fire. Reverse. Disappointment, not being able to see the happiness that is right in front of your face. Lack of direction and focus. Wasted energy and magical talents. Yeah. So, obviously, you're not wasting any time here. You're not wasting any of your energy here. You're very, like, on point and on key to where you want to go from here and who you want to be. So, yeah, because, you know, there is that sort of underlining issue of like death and the moon, right? Transformation and emotions, right? Is this new start to your life going to illuminate maybe your vulnerabilities or parts of you that you don't want other people to see, right? But you deep down inside know that regardless of what happens, you're still on that path to success. Even if that transformation is like you can see here, there's a woman who is like hunched over like an angel, right? And I feel like death, the Six of Pentacles and the Death card are two very similar storylines. Okay, they're two similar timelines here. You have two young girls that are like signing a deal with the devil here, making the wrong decision, right? But they're doing it anyway because it's like they have no choice, right? They feel like they're pushed into a corner and they have no choice. And then you have the like older young woman here and the little girl, right? And the hourglass, okay? And the time is almost up here. So it's like if you're being forced to transform, if you're being forced to move in a new direction, embrace it, but don't lose sight of why you're embracing it, or why you have to embrace it, or how it came to be this way. Because sometimes we're raised in certain environments with certain people that we have to learn survival skills that we necessarily wouldn't use in, say, an environment or a situation where we're happy and we're having fun, and we're on vacation, we're at the beach, we're drinking pina coladas, like that kind of environment. You don't need to be like in survival mode. You know what I'm saying? But if you're, say, on a deserted island and there's no pina coladas and your plane crashed, and you're all alone out there. Sorry. That's me. Then you might have to like hunt for food. You might have to learn how to build a fire and, look for scraps from the airplane to see if there's anything you can scavenge to, radio for home, if there's like a satellite phone or something, okay? So I'm taking the things out of that show, Yellow Jackets, which I've watched, by the way. So, great show, but like, that is like worst case scenario for like survival, right? But like, there's different types of environments, there's different types of energies, there's different types of people, and depending which of those things you fall into, which one of those categories, is that a lighthearted fun category, or is that a dark sinister category where you're fighting off a devil and a Death Eater, like a Sith Lord? I don't know. I was just watching Andor, so I'm thinking Star Wars. It was also May 4th, so May the 4th be with you, Aquarius. But yeah, so, and the angel is like, she's hovered over, she's gray skinned, like all of her energy has been absorbed out from her. Like her time is dwindling here. Okay, dwindling. I also been watching the Wheel of Time too, where like they're all like energy beings and like elemental. They have elemental witchy powers. So I'm gonna take a look here at the Moon, the Six of Pentacles, and Death, because I want to draw sort of a storyline for you here. Also notice the path in front of her. Okay, I feel like you've already come a very long way, and you've already sort of grown into this energy, like this being that is incorporated this energy into yourself, that you no longer are fearful of those devils in disguise. You're no longer fearful of death knocking at your door. Actually, last night I had like a very like lucid, like vivid dream, but it was also it was more surreal, I guess. But I also heard like knock knock on my door, which I actually thought was a real knock on my door. It startled me so much I woke up and went to the door and there was nobody there. So phantom door knockers. Maybe it was a ghost. I don't know. Like it was a message from the universe to wake up. I don't know. Something was off. I don't know. But yeah, so let's break this down. Moon, Six of Pentacles, and Death. Okay, so I just had it up and then I lost it. But I did want to read you this. Luke, what's in there? Yoda, only what you take with you. Okay, and that's from Star Wars Episode 5, Emperor Strikes Back. So I thought I'd read that in honor of, May the 4th. So all month, just Star Wars, right? So this death card, okay, we're going to look at this first. And basically, death is the archetype of death, okay? Let death teach you how to live, okay? The hanged man falls to the ground. Her red gown turns silky white, and her back sprouts white feather wings. Her chestnut hair turns ashy gray. The vampire transforms into a weeping angel. Death moves through the woods and with the sky, collecting souls just as feudal farmers collected wheat. The season ends. It's harvest time. Death holds an hourglass. Time has run out. A small child looks up with wonder. Children accept all things at face value until experience and education lead them to question and fear. Death exists in the shadow areas of our psyche until we are forced to deal with it. Death is not the opposite of life. Life is infinite. Death is the opposite of birth, a construct of the material world. Life's infinity resides behind the dance of birth and death. Consciousness awakens in the full and resolves in complete integration at the world. Death arrives at number 13, the uncanny number of strangeness and occult significance. Death is the energy keeping the material world fresh and new. Historically, death occurs during initiation into a magical or secret society. The old self drops away and the new soul emerges. Death inhabits Shavasana, the final resting pose of yoga, where the practitioner is transformed by her practice. Death inhabits the shadows, forests, and thickets of Gothic literature, film, and horror. How do we integrate death's lessons? How can death teach us how to live? Death teaches us all things change constantly from the molecular level to the mundane life. Death is ongoing like the weather. Death is the energy allowing emotions to appear, to be felt, and slip away, only to be replaced by new ones. Western cultures traditionally reflect the human spirit, either rising to heaven or descending into the hell after death. This is a dualistic version of the cosmos, ignoring a complexity which holds all options simultaneously. The dark wood teaches us to befriend the darkness, look death in the eyes, and make peace with all aspects of human existence. Death is the impermanence of the world. Meanings: terminus, the end of a way of being, clearing the path, the ascent to higher understanding, the beginning of true integration, a new beginning with a deeper understanding unfolds. Let go. Forcing your hand, using aggressive power to deal with a situation. Yeah, so again, it's just like, don't let things like death scare you, okay? Don't let like animals. Don't let transformation or like people bringing a sort of like deadly sort of negative energy come at you, because this kind of feeling of death can emerge in different ways, okay? Like, I like watching certain styles of like horror movies or like horror films, or like a horror story to me is like the Happy Face Killer. I don't know if you've seen that like series on, not the documentary, but like the series that came out on Amazon Prime. It has the Happy Face Killer, but it takes the viewpoint from the daughter of the killer's perspective and like how she felt growing up. So like she had like a very like horrifying like childhood and like experiences, right? But like there wasn't like a lot of gore and like slicing and dicing and like you know what I'm saying. So there's different versions of like what you can feel and what you can see, and you can kind of draw your own conclusions, and you can sort of immerse yourself into certain energies, but not so fully immersed that you're like putting yourself in harm's way. If you get what I'm saying. And then you have the Six of Pentacles, okay? So, yeah, because you don't want certain energies to take up your entire, like, force field that you've built around yourself that's protecting you from these negative energies. Like, when people say, it's good to let your boundaries down a little bit and try new experiences, they don't mean, like, go put yourself in harm's way. They just mean, like, you know, maybe you want to try skydiving, maybe you want to swim with sharks, you know, like, certain things, like, to that extent, but not, like, in a way where you're, like, putting yourself into such a dangerous situation that's, like, there's so many unpredictable things that could happen and go wrong, right? So just think of it in those terms, okay? So, Six of Pentacles is the devil's deal. A devil stands before twin girls, the three fingers forming a graphic triangle. One twin reaches up and accepts coins. The devil holds a parchment paper contract for the twin to sign. She eagerly writes her signature with a bloody quill. Six pentacles hang in the vines and trees surrounding the scene. The devil's position is powerful. He towers over the girls. The girls reflect dual personalities. Is this an act of charity or an act of economic exchange? Does the girl know what she is signing up for? Examine the card as the concept of give and take. How do you give and take energy and attention? How do you exchange money and material goods with others? How do you exchange information and ideas? Do you accept a quid pro quo, or do you give yourself freely? What are you signing up for when it comes to certain people in your life? Which character on the card do I identify with right now? Meaning, acts of charity and donation, reciprocatory. You are given what you need, but at what price? Look before signing legal contracts and giving too much away. Kindness appears in a surprising place. Charitable works and acts, giving time, effort, and money, are worthwhile pursuits. They can make a person feel incredible and even offer feelings akin to an endorphin rush. But are you using charitable acts to pump your ego and feel superior to others? Examine your motivations. So it's basically saying like it's good to give to others if you're giving for the right reasons. Like there is sometimes people who are gonna be like, oh, I'm rich, so I'm going to a charity event. Like, oh my god, I can just like spend drop good K on the table because I'm like so awesome. But there's people who are like, you know what, like I'm going to put together some clothes that I don't wear, like maternity clothes that I don't wear anymore, and I'm going to donate them to, a women's shelter, okay? Or a place, like some, like some sort of organization that, helps pregnant women and, has clothes for single moms or something like that. So there's different energies, you can just tell by the way I'm like, doing like a rich girl voice to like real voice, okay? I'm just, like doing a like character, okay? So anyways, but then you have the moon, okay? So I feel like the moon is sort of your guide, your safeguard, your guide to like more enlightenment and more understanding of where you are trying to go with all of this, because I feel like there is a lot of different sort of vibes. Like I feel like there are certain people like in the collective that sort of kind of understand. I say sort of kind of understand because I myself don't fully understand the whole entirety of the collective yet because I'm still learning things. But I think that overall you can sort of draw a conclusion to like where you are right now on your path, on your spiritual path, and where you are to manifest your dreams coming true, where you're manifesting the best love in your life, and where those energies are coming from. And sometimes it's a matter of you taking a seat and saying, you know what, I'm going to get grounded and I'm going to practice a little bit of self-love today because I'm not getting the love that I need from other energies, other people, because of the choices I made, right? Like, I'm not saying, Aquarius, that like you don't deserve love, but sometimes we find ourselves, in a group of people or in an environment where it's survival mode. It's not everybody is there to support everyone. And sometimes, everyone is there to win a prize, right? Like in the show Survivor. And like for a while, you might find yourself on a team or in an alliance or a group setting where everyone is getting along and working together. But then you find yourself alone, and you find yourself like trying to figure things out, trying to survive on your own. And that's where your true gifts begin to shine. Like that's where the moon, like that's where your intuition begins to be your guide. And that's what the moon symbolizes, okay? So the moon is the archetype of mystery. Uh, Protons are seen in the mind's eye and felt in the body. A full moon rises, it outshines all celestial objects. The shadow which feels a stirring deep within her, a body rises from the water as if the moon were a magnet, birthing fully formed woman from the murky depths. The moon reflects new possibility, rising from your subconscious to fill the space you have created. The moon is odd and unfamiliar, it is something new taking form. The moon is uncanny, mysterious, psychic, and dangerous, because original creations are rarely familiar. It can be downright frightening and scary to encounter something you can't identify. This is why the things we desire often frighten us. New possibilities, new ways of being, draw unfamiliar responses from us. The moon card gently lets us know we can support what is rising. The time is at hand. This is the birth of what always existed within. The subconscious communicates directly with your higher consciousness, your highest consciousness. There is no interference. This urge, desire, and new way can rise through the moon's reflected light. Sacred imagination is activated. Visions of future portents are seen in the mind's eye and felt in the body. The lady rises from lunar subconscious depths as the pregnant moon rises in the night sky. Two wolves howl, reflecting our animal instincts. Jewel Gothic towers foreshadow the evolution of what is to come. What will be built? A path leads from the water to distant mountain. This is the path of completion. What rises is sure to become real. Okay, so the meaning behind this is dreams, nighttime psychic activity, and the paranormal. An idea, thought, or thing inside your subconscious is ready to rise and be seen. Imagination, visions, dark magic. Like that's like literally like what you are awakening to, Aquarius, what you're walking into are these psychic visions. But on the shadow aspect of it is the mania, deception, mental illness, crossing the line into madness, unable to find the line between sanity and insanity, blurred vision, entrapment, obscuring the truth, blaming other circumstances for inner turmoil. And that's like you're literally seeing people operate in that shadow mindset like 24/7. Okay, you're seeing it in world politics, you're seeing it in social settings, you're seeing it in maybe in like a societal norm that's been set in the aspect of what could be like romantic love. You're seeing the depths of people and how they represent themselves and present themselves. And a lot of it is shadowy, and a lot of it is like fear based. A lot of it is this sense where they can no longer see, oh wow, there really are psychics. There really are people who have visions and can have these dreams of very insightful messages that can really help and shape and transform the world we live in today and help solve a lot of problems that the world is constantly going through. But instead, these people are operating on a very subsurface level, and they don't accept the reality of if you're having a dream about something happening, and it hasn't happened yet, but you have this sense or feeling that it could happen soon, and you instead, sweep it away and say, push it aside and say, that's crazy, right? That's stupid. Like anybody who believes in psychics and visions and divination and all that is somebody that does work with the devil, right? That's not true. But then you have to understand that people sometimes never get out from under those layers and layers and layers and layers and layers and layers and layers that they've put themselves into under, and you're over here like, wow, I just realized like there was like a lot of stress in this one aspect of my life, this one layer, right? But now I've done the work and I've ascended myself to a higher level, a higher consciousness, where now I've experienced a real life problem that maybe a lot of other people have experienced. And I've worked my way out of the shadows. I've worked my way out of the depths of despair that have been pushed on me. I've survived, and now I can bring light and wisdom to people who are currently struggling to find their way out. And that is the true force. That is the true power of the divine within us and source and spirit. It's like learning that you have overcome a struggle in life, being aware of that, and being able to help others out of it. And yeah, there's going to be haters, there's going to be trolls, there's going to be copycats, but there's also going to be real, true believers and supporters and followers and friends and soul family members and soul family tribe mates that you are going to find yourself in harmony with. And I was just, over the last week struggling to find where I was going to be going and what I was going to be doing, and separating myself from my tarot card readings and focusing on my family. And it took me out of my familiar. It took me out of my routine. It took me out to an adventure. And I was prepared for it though because I'd done the work previously. So that's what I'm saying. All right, so I think that's all the messages that I have for you today, Aquarius. But I know it was a long one. But all in all, though, it's you are reaching these new, higher state of consciousness, energetic fields of power and strength, and you're overcoming a lot of your own fears and anxieties of rejection and what people might think of you if you try to do something on your own that's a little bit different from everybody else. But that's what you're supposed to do. The reason why you're feeling like other people might reject you or might look at you funny is because that's just a normal response to when we do something that goes against like the status quo. But things never got accomplished with people always being the status quo. Things never got done. Steps never, goals never got met. Things never got pushed forward, right? Things change because people change the way things are currently. And that's what you're working on, Aquarius, is doing small little changes that are going to help you when it comes to making the big decisions that I feel like are you're being led into, where you're the leader and you're taking on that role of making those steps that need to be made in order for things to get better. And maybe not in like a big, grand, big ass world sense, world leader sense. Okay, who knows? Maybe you are the future president of the United States, Aquarius. I don't know. But what I'm saying, maybe you have plans for that. I don't know. But that would be cool, right? If we had like an actual like psychic as president that can predict things before they happen and prevent them. But either way, though, it's like you are still making those moves to reach new heights and just go above and beyond what the status quo is and make yourself like not so fearful of what other people are going to say or think when you make the right choice. Because there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be wrong and they're not going to want you to be right, but you have to still stay the course. And that's what you're doing. You're trusting your intuition, you're trusting in your dreams, your visions. I think you're practicing still like a lot of self love, self respect, focusing on yourself. Um, Definitely don't see a lot going on in regards to like, you know, going on dates and having like romantic stuff, but you are still in that phase right now in your life where you have to like really be very strong within yourself before you open yourself up to letting others in. And that's a very good place to be right now for you, Aquarius. All right, love and light always. Please subscribe to the channel. Viewers, I'm talking to you. Subscribe, please, and hit that like up button because I do really like doing these readings for you. And yeah, so that's my message. Bye.